Hello, everyone. Hello, everyone. I would say across the globe. This is you are at a webinar on Scylla and Network Optix integration. Welcome and thank you for joining us. Through the course of the webinar, what we will do, we will first start. We will introduce you, those of you who are not well acquainted. We will introduce Network Optix, what it is, what it does, and all the capabilities. Then we will introduce you Scylla, some of the modules, some functionalities, and then we will show you how it works in conjunction, how we work in partnership, I would say, in collaboration, and then we will have a Q&A session. So with this, I will give the word to my colleagues from Network Optix, and please tell me when to skip the slide whenever you are done presenting.
Sure, let's do that. Thanks, Ara.
Okay. A round of introduction. I forgot, of course. Yeah. Well, I will discuss shortly about I will introduce myself shortly when I will speak about Scylla. And now you guys, please introduce yourself and go ahead.
Yes. So everyone, nice to meet you again. So Ara, thank you. I noticed that there's some of the existing Nx partners in this webinar, and we have some new friends here, which is really good. So my name is Chieh Hsiu Lee. I'm the business development manager from Network Optix. I'm based in the APAC office. And my colleague, Andy Wen, also joined me in this webinar, and he's also based in the Taiwan office. Yeah. Andy, would like to say hi to everybody?
Yeah, hi guys, I'm Andy, and the same with Jason. We are based in Taiwan and Taipei. Okay.
Yeah, so today, since we have some new friends as well, so I will still spend some time briefly go through some information about our company and the highlights of our key features and some of the VMS advantages, okay? So to start, a very brief introduction about our company. Our headquarters is in Burbank, California. And right now we have expanded to around 110 full-time employees. And one interesting fact is that it's actually around 80% of my colleagues, they are in the technical role in the engineering team, like developers, pre-sales support engineer, or post-sales support engineers. So we make the product very simple, and of course it's very stable and it's very easy to integrate. So sales people like me and Andy, we can actually work with as many partners as possible. Yeah. So other than the headquarters in the USA, we also have offices in Russia, in Taiwan, in Netherlands, in Australia, France, Spain, and Ukraine. So the partners from the APAC region, including Northeast Asia, Southeast Asia, and South Asia, and Great China area are taken care by our Taipei office. So we have 7 to 8 staff here, and it's quite comprehensive. We have sales, pre-sales engineer, post-sales engineer, and marketing colleagues right here. Ara, please. Yeah. So today I'm going to give you some highlights about our enterprise VMS software. The name is Nx Witness. So later on, you will see some slides about some of the value propositions and interesting facts about the software. Yeah. Next page, please. And then please press one button. Yeah, thank you. So when we're designing the product, we try to make it. That's one of the very important philosophy we're having, is that the software should be very easy to use. We've seen so many VMS products in the market, and many of them are just too complicated to handle the daily operations in the security industry. So we try to make the software very easy to use, yet very powerful. Some of the fact is that the installation of our VMS is super easy. It takes like from download to install, just take no more than 2 minutes. It's just like you're installing a WhatsApp PC version, or you're installing like Line. In some countries, we're using Line, let's say instant message. It's just like installing a regular application. Yeah, and right after you install the software, the magic just started. The installation is easy, but we will still continue to auto discover all the connected servers, IP cameras, web cameras, integrated encoder, video encoders, DVRs or NVRs. You don't need to do anything. We will auto discover them, add them to the resource tree. You can start live viewing the video. If it's a PTZ camera, you can control the PTZ, use all the software functions like fisheye dewarping, like the event rule to interact with the building camera analytics. In general, you don't need to do anything. You don't need to enable a base license. You don't need to enable a camera license. Everything will be added and you can just start using the software. It's very simple and easy. The upgrade as well, if you have different versions of Nx on Windows, on Linux, on ARM, doesn't matter. If you use our software to merge them to a system, you just need to press one upgrade button and we will download the required upgrade data and then push to the client workstation to the server and perform the upgrade automatically. Yeah, just that simple. And the other thing I like to mention is that we are the most cross-platform VMS in the market as well, while we are also very lightweighted. When I say cross-platform, that means we can run full-feature server application and full-feature client applications on Windows, which is very general for the VMS. On Linux, that starts to be very rare. And also we can run the full-feature software stack on an ARM computer, no matter it's a 32-bit ARM like Raspberry Pi, or it's a powerful 64-bit ARM like the NVIDIA Jetson. We have the software for all kind of platforms. And about lightweighted, like I said, the software is very small. Altogether, the server plus the client only around 200 megabytes. And if you have a project with 128 dual stream Full HD video, you actually only require a single core of i3 CPU for that. So the cross-platform, the lightweight application make the SI or the user very easy and can design the project very flexibly. Yeah. So would you please? Yeah, thank you. The last things I'd like to mention in this slide is that we are very developer friendly. I believe Ara and his team has some experience about that, and he will mention something about that. So I won't take too much time on this part. So the things to mention is that we have a very different approach. If you want to integrate with our product, you don't need to talk to us actually. You can go to our website, download the SDK, download the API, and then you don't need to sign NDA. There's no licenses or anything in regards to integration. You can also go to GitHub and search for Network Optix. There are a lot of resources provided by our engineers. We provide reference codes for different programming language for you to do the integration. So if you want to build any kind of application for the vertical that are listed right here, yeah, these are actually real case scenario we see. So you can just download the SDK, download the API, download the software, and then start working on the tasks you want to do. Yeah. Next slide, please. Yeah, so just some facts. As I mentioned before, the software is very small, like 200 megabytes for both client and server application, and there's no prerequisite software to require. Okay, and 128 full HD video, we only require a single core of i3 CPU, and we have a special mechanism for the database index technology. So let's say we have a 1-year archive, we have different motion tags, we have different metadata tags that already tagged to the archive. If you want to search for that, we just require 1 second and we can go through all the database of 1-year archive within 1 second. That's really fast. We also support many IP cameras or IP video devices like encoder, DVR, or NVR. As of last month, this year, we have supported more than 668 vendors and more than 11,000 IP video devices already. And if you want to build a system with multiple servers, you don't actually need to consult our supporting or ask me. You can easily use the default setup and then to come up with a 10,000 camera project without any like engineering support. Yeah. Okay, so some of the advantage of our VMS, like I said before, build for user is really important. That is inside the core philosophy of our company. but it's really hard to describe this in words. So I would really encourage you to go to our website, download the software, and try it yourself. Yeah, you will find our software is very easy to use and operate. And like I said, we support 99% of the IP camera in the market. And not only that, USB camera, RTSP, HTTP, or UDP strings, or even offline video from your wearable camera, action camera, or like GoPro, we can import them to our VMS server as a virtual camera and start to utilize that with different integrated analytic solutions. Also, we are very cross-platform. We support, I would say, like all the power architecture and operating system, like the commonly used ones, okay? For Windows, for Macs, for Linux, you can run the software in virtual machines. We're having experimental functions to support Docker container. We can run our software in ARM, and we also support iOS, Android, and of course, we have a browser client, so which gives the SI, the user, a very flexible way to design your project. And then speed, we're really fast. When you are configuring the software, when you are interacting with different camera, especially high resolution camera, you will notice that we really react very fast. We have a technology called adaptive scaling, and we also utilize Intel QuickSync technology to decode the video on a low performance GPU workstation. But like the first one, it's really hard to explain or share this with you in words. I really encourage you to download the software. It's very small, very easy to install, to give it a try, and then you will notice this as well. Yep. And the software architecture is very dependable. We have our proprietary architecture. We call it server high architecture. So it's very decentralized. A long story short, all the server in the system, they are constantly synchronized with each other. So every server that fails, doesn't work for any reason, its camera, most of its database or settings will be automatically taken care by the rest of the server in the systems. Yeah, so in general, we have a built-in function for camera failover, so there won't be any single point of failure in a NX Hive architecture designs. Yeah. The sixth one is like you can literally integrate anything with our software. We have a comprehensive free developer tools that is like RESTful API, HTTP API, or C++ SDK for anyone to access to it and then to use it. There are universities in Taiwan. They work with Andy. I used to study in that university, but I wasn't in the computer science department. I was in the business school. But my university, the university I studied there, they're actually using our integration tool in class for students to build their labs. That's one of very interesting cases. Yeah, we got support tickets, but that's actually from students and professors. Yeah. And the software is very customizable. You might notice that we have a very flexible grid for users to design whatever form of layout they want. We can pull in a web page and then use the flex grid technology to build the layout you want. You can change the background. You can create virtual buttons on the map, on the live streaming to design the system to interact with your system the way you want. It's highly customizable. We don't have a fixed layout like 2x2, 3x3, or 6x6 for users to choose. Yeah, so you just design the layout the way you want. Yeah, with any size of the video. Yeah, like right now we have like crazy multi-sensor camera. Yeah, so with our design, you can actually utilize the multi-sensor camera together with the digital zoom function in a very, very, very cool and very effective way. Yeah. The last thing, of course, the most important thing is saves money. Yeah, I mentioned a little bit about our licensing model. We don't have base license. We don't have camera license. We don't have failover license. We don't have integration license. So in general, if we charge recording. So if you have a camera you need to record, then that's the only license you need to purchase from our partners. So we also don't charge for upgrade. We also don't charge for yearly support or maintenance. We actually introduce 11 to 12 upgrades every year including monthly patch upgrades and major upgrades. So we encourage customers to upgrade the software so that you can enjoy the new features, and we can fix the bugs. We'll enhance the cybersecurity of our software. So in the short run, when you are purchasing the software, it's very price competitive. In the long run, like 2 years, 3 years, or even the 5 years total cost of ownership, our software is even more price competitive. Yeah. Okay, let's go to the next page. So that's the last things I like to share with you, which is the software components we have. So the first one, of course, is the server. We have a server application. So it's basically taking care of the connections between the client, different servers, and the cloud, and then all the resources that are added to the servers. Okay. Next, please. And we have a thick client, desktop client that can run on CPU mostly, as long as it supports OpenGL 2.1. So we require minimum GPU, which is also good for us to work together with the analytics partners. We won't fight for resources. We require minimum CPU. We require some RAM. We also require a minimum GPU. So when we are running together in the same power, then most of the resources can be actually used by our video analytics partners. Yeah. We also have a mobile client, so that supports iOS and Android. So it's not just only for live view or playback. You can also use the mobile client to do feature ID warping, PDZ control, search for smart motion detection. You can create soft trigger buttons to show your gate, to do two-way audio, turn on the light, turn off the light, open the gate, or perform any kind of integration. There will be an extra layer called soft trigger, software buttons on the mobile client for you to interact with that. Yeah. And of course, most importantly, for multi-site projects, or for, I would say for most of the projects nowadays that require remote connection, our cloud layer that is built on AWS, Amazon AWS, would be especially helpful for SI, for the operators, or for the end users. So the cloud layer can connect it to unlimited Nx systems from anywhere. You don't need to prepare physical IP address. You don't need to set up DDNS. You can just use our point-to-point technology based on like NAT traversal and the proxy technology, so that to remotely connect to any server from any client, or to merge multiple server into a system very easily. Yeah. So these are the 4 layers of our software. And like I said, you can always go to our website. There's a bundle package for you to download everything together, or you can just download like the server or the client, right? I hope I didn't speak too fast. Yeah. So that's a very general highlight about our software. And today we are really happy, to invite to join Scylla's webinar. My colleague in Europe, in North America, already host 2 sessions with Ara. I see the video already. Their software is really cool. They can work based on cloud. They can work based on on-premises setup, and they have used our API and SDK very smartly, so that can utilize the resources, even the bandwidth, very smartly. So that's very cool. They take a deep look at our developer tool and design the integration. So later on, let's give the stage to Ara, and he will share with us the fantastic work they have done with us.
Thanks a lot, Jason. Thanks. Great presentation, by the way. As promised, going back to intro, I'm Ara Ghazaryan, technical co-founder and VP of AI at Scylla. And I'm here to present you Scylla and the integration of it with Network Optix. Scylla, it's a real-time physical threat detection solution. We utilize AI and computer vision to detect objects of interest, actions, and behavior anomalies. At Scylla, our mission is to empower the private security industry with next-generation AI solutions. And with every new product in mind, we strive to make safety more accessible to those who could not afford it otherwise. Scylla was founded in 2018 Since then, we experienced an exponential growth, and we gained recognition worldwide. We have an impressive client portfolio with Daimler, Chicago Cubs, Major League Baseball, and Oman International Airport, among others. Well, I can introduce Scylla's offering in terms of industries, in terms of relevant use cases. I would encourage you and everyone to really take a few minutes, I would say, and go to the website scylla.ai and check it out there, because there you can have the variety of not only per solution introduction, but also these bundles related to industries as use cases. But just again, just to name a few where it can be used. Again, I will talk a bit in detail about some of the solutions themselves, some of the modules of the solution. But in general, I would outline a few important ones. COVID-19, for example, compliance solution, one of the most wanted ones, and school security, of course, sport arena. Custom security and border control is not mentioned, but it is one of the recent intrusions, I would say, to the market, and etc. But again, breaking down all these bundles, I would go through some of the solutions in particular, and especially those would stop on those which are at the moment closest integrated. So the solutions themselves, they are, what do we provide in terms of, AI is a fancy word, and computer vision is very capable, and most likely you are this way or the other acquainted with that. Well, as in short, what if it's an elevated speech or something, then what we would like to say is that Scylla is like a Netflix rather than a simple DVD player. There is a usage for DVD player, of course, but it's very strict and very, let's say, limited in functionality. With the conventional, and it does the job, but it does only this one. What Scylla does, it provides you additional features, and all these features are in a way flexible. You can combine, choose, mix and match according to your use case. And in one sentence, I would say that technically we augment existing security infrastructure with next generation AI solutions to minimize costs, to avoid human factor error, that's very important, and provide new tools to boost the security. And these tools are based on the fact that in some cases, yes, AI can, I would say, outperform a human operation, and it will in the others it will help not to do mistakes and in the day-to-day security related operations. Well, in the these are actually some of the modules. The modules are growing not only like vertically but also horizontally. But if I have to break down, then I would outline some object detection capability. And as you can see from the pictogram, we put the flagman of our company. The company was built around this one. It's a firearm detection shown on a pictogram. I will talk about it briefly shortly. And then thermal screening. Here we integrate with thermal screening hardware, and we provide additional functionality and increased accuracy on top of that. Then we have this conventional intrusion detection, perimeter protection. We will actually showcase this one in action. And anomaly detection and behavior. This one will be about analysis of the action, not the object, but the action. So here is one of the very rare, if any, some of the solutions, they don't have an alternative in the market. Again, I will talk about them briefly in short. And then we have more, one of the recent ones is the person search also, based on appearance. We can search for a person in the crowd, in crowded area. We also tend to call it missing child search. When a person is missed in a very large area and crowded, what our system does, for example, in Chicago Cubs Stadium, then it is connected to several hundreds of cameras, and it starts to search in all of them simultaneously for this missing person. And of course, we have this conventional face recognition, license plate recognition, etc. We went to these solutions, let's say, later, because we focused on very unique solutions first, and then we went to conventional ones with a superb accuracy still. The face recognition, which we provide, outperforms a number of big names out there in this field. And almost every solution that I presented can be applied on aerial scenery footage. So the drone security, that's what we call. It can be integrated, and it can provide some, for example, intrusion detection or anomaly detection in the video feed. So with this general introduction, I would wait a sec. So I would go basically to, again, for the functionality. What Scylla does is it analyzes the video streams and or frames. In some rare cases, it's unique frames. Usually, it's video streams. Detects what it is designed to or set up to detect. Then it identifies the objects or people in the scenery or license plates or the action itself, and then it notifies. This part is also where I will also talk about network optics and the notification pathway. And we have our latest white paper in our website. You can download and see how we outperform, or what the performance metrics, the accuracy wise, what exactly each and every solution does out there. So I will, again, very shortly, I will run through the main modules, I would say. The object detection, very high accuracy, again, the flagman of the company, I would say. It detects if it's set to it, detects firearms. It detects also actually knife usage, and then detects masks, helmets, and detects not having those objects with you, I would say. For example, it detects if a person is not wearing a vest or is not wearing a hard helmet in some specific area. This is a short video clip showing how it performs, and also it shows our own dashboard, a web-based dashboard, and a mobile application. You get the alerts immediately with all the information that surrounds it. And I couldn't stress it enough, the importance of the visual content. I mean, if you, for example, if it is applied for the school security, the mere fact that there is someone with a gun in a school, it's very important, but it's not enough. And if you have this even a frame, now it's coming even with a short video touch, but even if you have one single frame showing what this person looks like, what is wearing, and what is possessing, this is very crucial information that comes in handy for neutralizing the security threat in time. And the next one, again, is proprietary technology, and it is detect, as I said, it works to detect some action in the scene. What it does at the moment, it's being developed and it's widens with all the branchings. What it does at the moment, detects fighting, violent aggression, aggressive behavior, brawling and vandalism, etc. in the scenery. It detects smoke and fire instances. it detects those from very far, I would say, and very precisely to complement existing smoke detectors and fire detectors. Of course, it works on visual cameras, so it can be applied to all the cameras at your facility simultaneously. Then it can detect suspicious behavior that can result in shoplifting. This one is a particular one. For the short, we call it shoplifting detection, but of course, it basically detects the acts when a person is trying to conceal an object in some bags or backpacks or whatever, or under a shirt, in the pocket, etc. So these type of tiny, subtle actions, our system still can detect and alert the supervising security personnel to take a closer look on what's happening in the scene. And again, one of the last ones, the recent ones, is the slip and fall detection. And basically, it does what it does. If in the scenery someone is falling on the ground, we alert corresponding personnel or supervising personnel to take actions as fast as possible. So one of the examples of anomaly detection in the scene, yeah, we had fun testing this. At the moment there is an action in the scenery, well, a few seconds, 2 to 3 seconds of the action are being analyzed, and the corresponding video chunk plus minus 5 seconds are sent to the final end user to understand what's happening in the scene. And another one for the smoke and fire detection, actually applied on a real world footage. And with this one, you don't need super high quality footage. Actually, it uses some inner logic for localization and checkup. And this inner logic is one of the strongholds in almost every solution. There are algorithms that work behind the scene that are not visible, and some of them are patented at the moment. The others are being. And for example, we do have localization of the AI in a certain part of the scenery. Usually, when you have a high resolution image to analyze, usually what people do, they shrink it to short, smaller resolutions to be able to fit in the memory. While in our case, we use the original resolution. We don't lose the data. So, and then person search, as I said, we call it, as a code name is missing child detection, but also it can be used for tracking a person of interest, an intruder, bolo, or the above mentioned potential shoplifter. So the moment that the system detects the act, then the system can also track the person throughout the perimeter and aid the personnel helping where she was spotted at last. And it is based on tracking. Tracking and detection is based on appearance, on overall appearance, on overfit. And that helps a lot because, well, alternative to that is face detection and tracking, which is not always operational due to the known limitations of face recognition. Then the position of the camera, the resolution, the proximity to the camera of the person, etc., etc. Well, person search or missing child search, etc. It works on a crowd, works on a great distances, and it's very accurate. So this is and the last one I left. Well, some of the functionalities here are pretty straightforward, and the others are being also like augmented and built as I speak. For example, I would talk about shortly about, for example, the smart heat maps and dwell time and tracking, etc. So basically what intrusion detection in one word does, it detects people or vehicles in a scene. Not only detects them, but also tracks. You can the system can track the particular individual. So it can understand that person A, for example, is spending time in here and then spending time in there, in this area. It went from the left to right, etc., etc. But the basic functionality is exactly very accurately to detect a human being in even a body part. If it is just a hand in the scene or a small part of the body, we do detect that. So this module comes as a separate standard. It even is provided as in a separate standalone model that we recently rolled out, I think a week or a week and a half. It's called Asteria. It's you can find more information on the website about it. The hardware and pre-installed software is in it, and basically we all know that, well, nowadays 99% cameras are providing motion detection, right? Some of them are very accurate, the others, well, do on par, well, more or less. But then what this camera does, it detects motion, and the sources of motion can be, well, lots of them. So there goes some false positives associated with this. And what we also do here is, well, this is an example of intrusion detection. Similarly, there's an active area that you can choose and a time schedule to detect. It analyzes each and every frame of it can analyze each and every frame of the camera. So we call it 24/7 watch. And it also can analyze the frames that are being detected by the camera as a result of motion detection and sent to the system. And what the system does in the second case, then it filters and leaves out only the frames that contain human being or a vehicle. That's what I'm talking about. We call it false alarm filtering system, and it can minimize in some cases up to 99% of the false alarms. We have installations with this huge number of false alarms because of a number of reasons. Cameras can be placed outdoor. There may be even like light flickering on site, which for some reason cannot be avoided, can trigger the motion detection of the camera, and, well, leaves, dust particles, animals in the area, they all can cause this alarms, annoying, that will render a whole system of detection of intrusion or detection of some breaches. Well, eventually it will render that system useless, because if one is getting hundreds of thousands of alerts a day, then usually tend to turn it off entirely. So what false alarm filtering provided by us is doing, it filters only the cases which are of importance, which need to be taken care of. So and these are just some statistics from installations, real world installations that we have of alarms reach to our system, and alarms that were filtered to be containing some real detections. And now, the most important part of this webinar, I would say, the conjugation, the collaboration, I would call it. Even though, yes, as Jason said, exactly, I would here actually spend some time and express the appreciation of this kind of collaboration in terms of the following. It's really, really straightforward and easy. All this integration, all the provided tools, actually, the SDK, the documentation with the big letters there. You really do not need to contact these guys, even though the contact is very prompt and the tech support is superb. But still, you don't, most of the cases, 99%, I would say, it's there in the paperwork, in documentation. So you don't need it. So everything is out there, and all the range of tools and possibilities. It's like it's laid out. It's all almost like open source there. So you take the advantage of all these possibilities of integration. And right now, as I speak, the intrusion detection and preventive threat detection, this firearm detection, face recognition watch list are two-way integrated. So the video stream is taken from NX, and the alerts can be received and watched and searched, and all this functionality that NX provides on the dashboard of NX. So you don't need the Scylla dashboard provided. So November, end of November, we'll roll out a major upgrade with almost every solution covered with Network Optix, including what I said earlier, false alarm filtering. So the motion detection from Network Optix will be sent to a stereo box, for example, the hardware unit, and filtered out there, and then finally you will get the smartly filtered alerts only. So how it works in particular for current setup. Again, for right now, I will talk only what exists right now. And again, most of it is based on false alarm filtering. So the alarms are being formed by NX, very accurate, very sensitive, and reasonable motion detection that works in NX itself. Then the alarms are sent to Scylla. It can be sent to local server, or you can connect to the cloud service that we provide. Then the alarms are sent there. They are being verified, checked if they contain a human being, or if the human being is possessing a weapon in his hand. And then you get the corresponding alerts back to your system. So this is how right now it works. The integration, I wanted to include also the slide or a video showing you how to set up the plugin, but it was very, let's say, boring in a way. It's very straightforward, as similar to the installation of NX itself. You just open the file 5 times next and finish. So it's not much of a, it's not that interesting, I would say. But what I would do now, I would show you how NX performs in action. It's a recording, unfortunately. Live testing is not possible due to some COVID restrictions, but I would show you how it works in action as a recording. So basically, it's a plugin. From our part, it's a plugin that is installed separately from NX. Then what you need, you just basically provide our API address on the cloud for the person check, for the weapon check. You provide the API key, which is it's a license key, and then you provide the folder where the frames will be stored. That's it, and the system is then, of course, you have to also kind of turn it on for certain cameras. You see the plugin as a possibility when you click on the camera. You can enable it at the certain cameras. You can enable both functionalities or one of them, and then in camera settings, in recording, you can enable the recording to have this small part attached to the alert. And you can, as I said, you can enable the plugin for the camera and apply it. That's it. That's pretty much it. All of this is a matter of few seconds of, as you can see now, it's in action. If a person enters the scenery, the alert is already formed. It's formed for the person detection, but also there are alerts that are sent as you can see, for example, here down there, it detected also a weapon in the hand of a person. So both plugins and both functionalities are operating at the same time. And yeah, there were, if the storage is there, then you see a short video attached to the system. And again, the system is very sensitive. It won't let anyone pass the scenery. And yeah, there you go with another test of the weapon at our R&D office. And again, detects both person, both weapon. And as I said, you can enable other object of interest also. It's just for the sake of the demonstration, we enabled only these two. You can enable other objects and have them analyzed at the same time. So yeah, in some cases, the plugin, yeah, in the update, there will be a combination frame. So it will be combining both the person and the object and every other analysis that is made. That's pretty much for the demonstration. And if to outline the guts, if you are interested how it works, we're using a metadata SDK to do this input output, to take the frame from Nx server and to send it to Scylla Cloud. And well, again, it's very straightforward. As I said, this is this outline explanation of the video. You just configure the camera rules and enable the recording, and then the motion detection will do everything else. You just enable the plugin, that's it. So the benefits you get in this particular case, of course, you get less false alarms, and then you get custom configuration. You can do all this custom configuration, and you can configure separately for every camera. That's pretty much for all the integration and this part, the integration of existing solutions. And now I think we can go through a round of Q&A. And I think I saw one question to you, Jason, from some attendee.
Yeah.
Can you answer that, please?
Yes, yes. Okay, of course. The first questions we got is about how many mobile clients can connect to one server at the same time. So we don't have a software limitations on the concurrent mobile connections, and we also don't require to install an extra layer of the so-called media server. So that's already, the functions already building our server application. So the bottleneck, I would say, it lies to the total available uplink of the Nx server. If there are so many clients connecting to the server at the same time, then of course we have to have a sufficient uplink for that. And the other bottleneck could potentially be is the server CPU resources. In most cases, the mobile client will request the regular string from the server, like the camera giving 1080p, the client will request 1080p, or the second string, the camera give to server is VGA, and the client requests for VGA. But there are some cases the client might request a transcoded video. For example, I only got 1080p and VGA, but the client say I want to see 720p. So they can select that in our mobile client, and when that happens, the server will have to transcode the video for the client, then that will require extra CPU resources. So that's something we have to take in mind for that. But from software point of view, there's no limitations on concurrent client, mobile client connections. Yeah.
All right, thanks. Thank you. I see another question there for the object number. How many objects we can track at a single time? Well, the maximum number is virtually it's not limited. It will depend on the hardware that is doing the analysis. In general, what we assume and what we test, and well, it doesn't need some extra efforts, is around 25 at the same time. I'm talking about number of people in a scenery that can be tracked and kept the track on, and all these heat maps and everything. So that's kind of the general number. If you want extra, if it will be highly crowded, populated area, we will provide you some kind of a top off, so you should kind of upgrade the system a little bit to be able to track each and every if the number is more is higher. That's it.
Our follow-up questions for this one. So do you utilize more like CPU resources, or you utilize more GPU resources when performing the analyzation?
Actually depends on the type of the object. We have a separate special human. This actually it's used also for human search when you kind of compare the appearance of one person to the other. When this module is engaged for tracking people in the scenery, how they move, etc., we need somewhat, not too much, but somewhat GPU resources if the scenery is crowded. When we are talking about other objects, including also cars and other, like, let's say, non-lively objects, then we need CPU rather. But again, we're talking about numbers of 30, 40, 50, etc. in the scene, which I actually myself didn't even experience the occasion to see in the live. There are a few more questions here. I think to me, how is the charge for the analytics by module license cost? Well, I would really highly encourage you to contact the sales or whoever will be in contact with you through the website. Most likely you will be directed to a person who handles your region, I would say, or a local sales team, etc. And they will provide you all these details. The reason I'm telling this because it really can depend. You can take the advantage of kind of a customized cost, because if you have several modules in your mind, when you have a certain project in your mind, etc., there might be some combination. And the same thing happens also hardware wise, because some modules are really complementary in terms of hardware, as Jason like kind of hinted. Some of them are using CPU, the others are GPU. Some of them are using the RAM of the GPU, while the others are computation of GPU. So combining them, if you calculate them separately, it's not always 1 + 1 = 2. Actually, sometimes 1 + 1 will be 1.2 and 1.5, etc. in our case, right? So that's it. And integration with a drone. Well, with certain hardware, with certain drones, for example, DJIs, there's a module that can stream the video from the drone while it's flying to the server. And we do also have we are right now finalizing the development of onboarded analytics using some local hardware, small units. I would disclose that a bit later and show them in one of the webinars very soon, hopefully in live. But at the moment, what I would say that it's two-way, either also on board of the drone or using the server attached on the ground. And the server, it's a laptop. And hardware resources, actually, yes, we do require additional hardware. I didn't speak about that, but we're usually actually bragging about the low level of hardware that we require, especially if you compare to similar analytics in the field. And usually I'm giving the example of my not super trendy laptop I had 3 years already, but it is GPU equipped, but at the same time can analyze 20 streams, just lab. So if you have a kind of a more or less decent server, you are talking about hundreds of streams of analysis. And yes, you need to purchase Scylla separately. It's a separate story in a way, and yes, we do charge per camera, per module, and all of these details you can find on the website. Again, I will encourage you to go on the website scylla.ai, and you will find all this information there. But again, please take if you are interested in collaboration, do not hesitate to contact. There are a number of advantages that are maybe, I would say, not straightforward from the very beginning. For example, these bundles, about the discounts that you can expect if there's a numbers of involved, etc., etc. I think I have answered the existing questions.
Yep. Ara, there are one question from the chatting panel, which is about is there a minimum pixel requirement for weapon recognition?
Yeah, I saw these two questions. Yes, actually, well, there's no exact number in a way, because there are some other factors, for example, the illumination and the quality of the image, etc. But if I am to say a number, usually we're talking about like something around 17 pixels, 15 to 18, something like that. It's the minimum pixel I would like to see in the object to tell with a confidence whether it's a weapon or, for example, a mobile phone from a distance, which can resemble a gun in a way. And and for the training of more weapons, actually, yes, we do get this question every once in a while, like what are the types of weapons you can recognize. When we started the development, there was this database of a NATO and then US and then Israeli, like the conventional weapons. But then we started to load more and more, and there is this kind of a jump, which is called generalization. Similar to human being, when you are like, when a small child learns about some object, I would give the same example of a weapon. Okay, when you see one time it says it's a gun, the second time gun, and third, similar to how a child can then learn and generalize, and then in an adulthood, when you're watching an action movie, you don't need to know the type of the gun to understand that it's a gun because of the number of features, etc. So similar to that, our system now can recognize even the weapons that it hasn't actually seen before because of this generalization type. So usually you don't need to train to add new models unless it's very specific, something futuristic, something which is way beyond whatever. But the database contains it all painted, different, customized, all the things, because what matters there is more like a posture, the way you handle it, the features, etc., etc. So it's not just the type and the model. It's not based on the model. I hope I answered that one too.
And I have questions, Ara.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, in your demo video, I see some of the very interesting facts. Like you have a dashboard showing how many motion detections are happening and how many are filtered by your AI to identify whether it's a false alarm or not. So is that dashboard information available in your browser-based application? And
yes.
Can we export the data and form a report or something like that?
Exactly. Of course, it is available for the end user to understand and to do proper analytics. You definitely can export that in different formats. If you want the graph, then in a PDF, or if you want a log, all of this is doable and possible. And also, again, one of the things I don't sometimes I mention also to potential clients or collaborators is the fact that yes, we are an established company, but we do have some nice features from startup times, I would say. And one of them is this flexibility in a way, and with this 100% of customer satisfaction. I think some part of it is exactly because of that. If there is a feature that you don't find, especially if we're talking about UI, about the dashboard, etc., I encourage you to contact our tech support, us, and there's a high chance that it will be included in short timing. And again, especially with for example, this integration, with this open integration that we have with Network Optix, like it's very fast and it's a very blast. So to have this additional information transferred to the dashboard and shown it's quite easy. It is doable.
That's great. Yeah, the reason I asked is that, like, I hear more and more challenges from the service provider. They're getting questions from the user and saying you're asking me to invest more in the video analytics, but how do I know whether it's working or not?
Yeah.
So I see the dashboard from your presentation, and that really filter out a lot of false alarms, and that will help the service provider to justify the additional investment that they're trying to get. Yeah.
Actually, in our dashboard, you can also see rejected alarms and triggered alarms. So if you have questions, and we did have a question, for example, how my system can generate this many alarms, then first of all, of course, you can have the report per camera, which will tell you which camera is, let's call it misperforming, right? Because again, there's a number of false alarms you can expect per day per camera. But then also you can see through the rejected alarms and understand what exactly triggered this and that and that. Maybe it's showing, it's pointed on a street and then cars are passing, and then you get them every once in a while. Meanwhile, good. Anastasia also already answered this question, but I will also sound it out. Will the recording be made available? Yes, exactly. This session is being recorded, and shortly we will make it available, and at least every participant will get the link. And then also you feel free to redistribute the link and give it to all those who probably wanted to attend but didn't make it, etc. I think it. I don't see any new questions. And one last question to you, Jason. I think.
Yeah, please.
With all this analytics, okay. Well, for the moment, we're definitely more than comfortable enjoying this partnership, mostly because, well, really there is no. First of all, there is no conflict, not at all, of whatever we are providing. That's out of question for the moment, at least. And then the question will be, are you looking to the direction of AI? Are you planning in any iteration to come to include that in your in the primary functionality that Nx is providing?
Yeah, I have to say on myself's behalf, as far as I know, right now, I don't see a plan to include video analytics as our offering. So what we have been doing since version 4.0, and right now it's 4.2, what we've been trying really hard to do is to fine tune our developer tools. So it's been a major upgrade from 4.0, and right now we are enhancing the documentation, enhancing the integration framework, and we did make one open source analytic for object detection based on OpenCV, but that's just being used as a reference code for developers to take a look at it and how can they make the integration more effectively. Yeah, so as an open platform software provider, I see ourselves as a platform to provide a developer tool for valuable partner like you to make more integration in a faster, timely manner, and then to provide more capabilities for our channel partners to use the joint solutions. Yeah, so we try to enhance the integration work instead of developing like some video analytics on our own. Yeah, that's what I see.
Okay, thanks a lot. And again, I will repeat myself, but we appreciate all these tools and easiness of the usage of those. It's really a very, very pleasant cooperation in that respect. The one last question we got, and I will answer that, and I think we're beyond the shadow anyway. So, and there's a question about gun detection and or him or bank retail location. So the question is, security guard will come with a gun, and can we provide access to him for bank and retail location and police HQ? it will provide access to them with their name, ensure watchlist or whitelist is available. Indeed, it is. Both watchlist and whitelist are available in our scenarios. Moreover, while whitelist is pretty straightforward and it's provided by many out there, the watchlist that we are providing is differentiating by a superb accuracy. The reason for that is that the way we treat the face recognition, we are not doing it on one single frame, but we do in a sequence. While, as I say, we track the person and we can do multiple assessment of the same person, and our final result is much more accurate in that respect. So person is approaching the camera or passing under, we don't do abrupt conclusions. We take that advantage that we are doing the video analytics. So it's not just one single frame. So that's why, and not only for that, but also for that, the watchlist that we're providing has higher accuracies. And yes, we do provide that, and access control systems like locking the doors in our several setups. It is integrated in local access control. For example, thermal screening, if there's a suspicion or a mask, if a person is trying to enter the building without a mask, we do detect that, and the doors are locked until they are open, until it's been taken care of. So access control is possible. I think that's it. I would assume there might be much more questions out there. Feel free to shoot them. We have this, at least those that are relevant to Scylla. Feel free to shoot them in our website, or either me or tech support will take care of that. We'll answer that. And thank you very much again, our partners, I would say, our colleagues from Network Optix, for the wonderful presentation and for the product in the first place, I would be honest, for the product to begin with. Thanks, and yeah.
Thanks a lot to you too, Ara. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for the attention to all the participants. And as I said, the recording will be available shortly. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, everyone. Feel free to contact us, okay?
Yeah.
Yes.
Take care.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.